Hey, it's Tanya with Fat Faith Life, and I'm back with another vlog. And today I'm going to be doing an update on my plan to run away from home next year. And I also want to talk about I attended a it was called Exodus Summit, and it was a summit, online summit, week-long, full 7 days worth of online content and connecting and conversations about African American women taking a sabbatical. And it was awesome. It was a lot of great information presented. Well, let me clarify. Taking a sabbatical or becoming an expat, basically leaving the U.S. to live in another country. It was conversations about, we heard from people who have done it, are doing it, planning on doing it. We've heard from people, across all age groups, all demographics, married, single, no kids, single with kids. It was just a really well-rounded week of information, and it was very inspirational to hear the stories and of people who have transitioned into living abroad. And it's just a wealth of information, and it's good to know. That's one of the things that the internet has done. One of the great things it's done. A lot of times it allows you to connect with other people who you may never would have connected with, because in the old days before the internet, you only connected with the people in your neighborhood, in your local area. And if you didn't see excuse me, if you didn't see, give me a little water. If you didn't personally know anyone who'd ever done some things, you may have had, a desire to do something. And you were the first person in your town, let's say, who wanted to be a fashion designer. You can still do it. You definitely could still do it, but the internet allows you to learn about it, to see what the opportunities are, to connect with other people who are fashion designers and learn all about it. So it brings information to your fingertips that you wouldn't otherwise have had access to. And that's what the Exodus Summit did. It just allowed you, and like I said, if you're on social media, you run across all people, and you see, I'm very proud of us. We're not limited to, just doing the same old things we see other people around us doing. You can, be and do just about anything you want to here in 2020. Yes, I said it. In America, as an African American, you can be and do anything that God has blessed you with the talent and the ability to do. Do not let anyone stop you. That said, with everything, you've got to be smart about it. You've got to recognize certain things. For example, hey, if I want to be an attorney, but I don't want to go to college, I can't be no attorney. I want to be a doctor, but I shouldn't have to go to school to be a doctor. Seriously? So with everything, that you got to use common sense, but it was just great. It was just great to hear the stories, and, everyone has this desire. And a lot of people wanted to go for all kind of reasons. There are a lot of people who are just fed up with America, and how it's treated African American people, how it's continuing to treat us, the lack of truth, the lack of honesty, the lack of justice coming by too many in authority, is just appalling. It's something that you just like, yeah, is it still happening in 2020? So there are many people who just want to go somewhere else. Then there are other people who are just like me. I'm in this second bucket, just interested in other places. My mother was like that. My mother is like that. I mean, she was Miss Spanish in high school. So my mother is very global. She hasn't traveled a lot, but internationally, but she's very globally minded. You know, my mother, a lot of this is not, I got it from my mom, you know, who's just interested in other places, Spain and Portugal and you know, some of the African countries. And so that's me. I'm just interested in, I've always loved to go since I was a little child. And I will say, as growing up in a family, my father was in the Navy. I was not a Navy brat because my mother, I was born in a different state because my mother, early in their marriage, my father was transferred and she went with him, and I was born in that state. But by the time I was young, we came back to, you know, where my family is from, and I've pretty much grown up here. But even with that said, we traveled a lot across the U.S. I mean, I remember one summer, it was probably the summer in 1978. I'm thinking maybe I was a child, but we had a 1978 Cadillac. My father had bought my mom. Or they bought it together because my mom was a teacher. She had a job. But we drove to California, and I remember stopping in Dallas. I remember seeing the Grand Canyon. I remember saying we stayed in Las Vegas. My parents went to see Bill Cosby. That was the first time me and my sister, they left us. We had one of those rooms where it was two rooms adjoining with the door between them, and so they left us in the room, and we called and got room service. Child, we was living our best lives as little girls. I've been to, I think, Monticello and all those types of places. That was my parents, you know, my mom. We traveled when I was young, you know, so it's something that comes natural to me. And I've been in I've been just about every major city in the U.S. I've been blessed, fortunate to travel, and I love me a good road trip. But I will say, you know, now I'm just interested in all things international. I just am. For the last couple of years that I've just became interested in countries that I didn't even know, you know, other than I knew they existed, but I began to research them, and I just had a desire for that. And so you just never know, you know, how your interest in things may change over time. So that's me. I'm just interested in some places. I want to see some of the things. You can virtually go places on YouTube now, you know, with all these people doing flyover tours and walking tours and recording that. But it's nothing like being there. So yeah, back to the conference. All kind of people were there. So it was very, very, very interesting. Lots of great information. You know, people from all walks of life were there. And it was just very, very well done. It was a very informative. I mean, I got lists of apps and tools and sites that I hadn't heard of. And I'm on the internet all the time, so I know a lot, but I didn't know some of this stuff. So it's always great to go out and connect with people who are interested in what you're interested in, because you can always learn something. So great job to Rashida Rowe and Stephanie Perry. That great job. It's called Exodus Summit, and I know it's over now. But I do know they're planning, you know, hopefully, prayerfully, there'll be one next year. And I'll make sure when I hear about it to let you guys know, so if you want to attend. But excuse me, y'all. Anyway, it was very, very good. So kind of want to talk about that. And so the update on my plan, because y'all, if y'all, I don't know, I don't know if I've even talked about this on this blog, but I have been planning to go to Turkey for like 4 years now. Seriously, it's been on my plan, and I've been doing little things, but I never had a date. So I finally set a date, and my original plan, what I wanted to do was just take a year-long working sabbatical. Praying that my job would allow me to work from outside of the country for a full year. And I was going to rent my house and, you know, pack up all my stuff and, you know, let my mom hold my truck. And I was going to be gone for a year, you know, probably spending maybe 3 or 4 months in multiple countries. So that was the original plan. But I was praying. I said, Lord, you know, orchestrate my steps. Guide me in how to do this thing that I desire to do. And I was walking around, I think it was like last Saturday, and I was walking around, and y'all know I have a bunch of side hustles, and some of them are digital, but others are not. They're product-based things. And when you have a product-based business, you have to make that product. You have to ship that product and all of that, you know, until it gets big enough to be self-supporting. And, you know, right now it's kind of not. And so Then I was walking around the house and I was like, I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like packing up all that stuff. I don't want to do that. Only, for those who are planning to permanently move, it's a different thing. But I consider this house kind of my retirement house. So it's, it's a little small, 0 lot, and I'm quite partial to this list. I need more space, but it works. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I really don't. I'm not at this point because, I'm not planning to go forever. I'm not planning to do that. And to be honest, I've never been outside of North America, so I may not even like it. Doubt it. But you just never know. And I was like, hey, I don't want to go through all that for right now. So I tweaked my plan. I pivoted. And that's the word for 2020. Pivot. I pivoted my plan. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just go for 1 month sabbaticals every 2 to 3 months? Same thing, it's going to change the money a lot because, now I'll still be responsible for paying my mortgage and all of that. But it's just a little money. The Lord can bless me with that, just to be able to do that. Plus, there were some other conversations because there was a Facebook group that went along with the summit. And there were conversations from people when, because I asked the question, has anyone ever, because a lot of people are quitting their job, they're quitting their job and they're starting digital-based businesses to be digital nomads, which is what I originally want and still might end up doing. But I asked the question, has anybody done it when they kept their job? And I kind of, eventually I do want to divorce my job, but I'm not at that point right now. And I was like, okay, so I had posted the question and there were a lot of conversations around it. And in these conversations, I discovered the tax implications to companies who, if you have if someone is doing work, but they're in another country, then there may be some tax implications, meaning your company may have to pay taxes to that company. And I was like, okay. So there was a lot of discussion about that. About the challenges, and someone had asked and been told no, and that kind of came up as a reason why they could not allow that to happen, and all these other kind of things. And so, yeah, although I do work for a global company, we're split up into divisions, and I do not work for one of the global divisions. So that may be something that may be a challenge for me. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just start by just going for a month? And technically, I've been at this company a hot minute, so I have enough vacation to do that, but that'll be all my vacation for the year now, so really I want to make it a working thing, and I don't mind. I work like that now. I'm already working from home, for the foreseeable future anyway. So we'll have to kind of see how that goes, see how it goes. But yeah, just to be able to, I'm still going to be doing my work, but just be in another country, and so that's kind of my latest plan. Yeah, my plan would be to be gone for June, come back July. Well, I need to let me think about that. Maybe May. I definitely want to be gone for August because that's my birthday month. Be here probably maybe October. But the goal is to just spend a month in, some places. And then from a financial perspective also, that gives me a little time to, well, it really wouldn't matter too much if I'm still working. But it just kind of gives me time to come back and I can stock up and make my product and have it stocked because I can get someone else to ship out the orders for me. If I've got the product made and ready to go. So it's just a lot of opportunities. And for me, and check on my mom and all of that, it made better sense for me. And so the thing, I think we talked about it, and here and everybody, nobody's story is going to be the same. Whatever it is you're trying to do, the way you've got to do it in a way that works for your life and your situation. And don't feel pressured, and you got 2 student loans, car note, mortgage, you got kids, you got all these responsibilities, and you looking at someone else who's single, 29, never married, no kids, no responsibilities. and they just up and quit their job. Don't let that put pressure on you to do that. You know, that's their story. You've got to do what's best in your story. And, you know, pray, ask the Lord about it. You know, he wants to guide you into what, you know, what's best. He knows the answers. He knows exactly what you should do. Exactly what you should do. So pray and ask the Lord for guidance, you know, about these things. And I think some of my favorite scriptures are Proverbs, I think it's 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Meaning acknowledge God. Say, you know, Lord, here's something I want to do. I really have a desire to do this, but Lord, you know when, you know if, you know when, you know where, you know how I need to do it. Guide me through this process, and he'll do just that for you. So I'm very excited about this pivoting process. And so now I was checking flights because got to figure out where I'm going. I'm pretty sure Turkey is going to be stop number 1. I've joined a couple of other Facebook groups on travel, and everyone just raves about it. No, it's not a perfect country. There are no perfect countries. But Istanbul, and I love me some water. Can't swim a lick. Can't swim a lick, really swim. But I love the water. I love the ocean. And Istanbul specifically is surrounded by water. Just beautiful, beautiful city. So very interested in being there, and being there at a time where it's good to walk outside. I don't want to be there when it's too hot because, you know, I don't get along with heat. That's my big issue with Africa. I don't do well in heat. Not like that. I mean, I've seen people from Nigeria talking about it's hot here. I'm like, you grew up in it and it's still hot. So I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that. So yeah, so it's figuring out where I want to go. But I'm Turkey, Istanbul, you know, hitting multiple places. The Cappadocia, I want to go to Antalya, looks beautiful. Izmir is where the Afro Turks are. Yeah, so I know that's there. Most likely that'll be sabbatical number 1. But also on there, I've always wanted to go to London, UK, always. Very interested in Seoul, South Korea. But you know, then I'm like, okay, how you gonna go to a country where you're gonna be maybe the largest person in the country, because I'm tall and fluffy and they're so tiny. But anyway, I'm going anyway. So, you know, so there's that. And then I'm kind of interested in Japan. I'm interested in China, but I think, yeah, not right now. Not for this first series of sabbaticals. And then, yeah, I had to think where else I want to go. Yeah, but those are kind of, I'm still trying to figure it out. I've heard good things about Ireland. My mother's very interested in Ireland. So, yeah, so that's the new plan. Yeah, just working on flights. The initial plan, fly over, you know, get an Airbnb for a month. You know, get that stuff all paid for. As long as I got Wi-Fi, comfortable place to lay my head. And then just really, in that month, really immerse myself on what it's like to live there. And to kind of do that in multiple places. So hopefully, you know, after this series of sabbaticals, then I'm, you know, if I may want to say, you know what, I really want to move to so-and-so, I can do that at that point. So that is my plan. I'm excited about it. If you are an expat, or if you are planning an international trip, once COVID passes off the scene, or we've got it kind of in better control than we do now, where would you like to go? You know, if there's a place, make a case for where you want to go, and where you think is a good place to spend a month. And yeah, comment below. And as always, like, share, and subscribe to the vlog so you'll be notified every time I upload something new. Okay, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.